Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again, and I'm here for the same reason I can't sleep. And it is because there are so many things on my mind that references we as people. And that is, my friends, that we're not, when I say we, I'm talking about all of us, not enjoying life. Many of us are, but many of us are not. And we got people who believe that we could enjoy a better life if we made it more difficult for certain people. The trick is to say that if we made it very difficult for certain people, then it would force these certain people to do something, whatever it is, to cause the manifestation of some money at a time when we're trying to create artificial intelligence where we can eradicate the need for those humans that we have put on the end of being successful. And that is the way that human beings think. When we think about all the troubles that we're going through with politicians talking about how they want to present this policy and how the old people don't know what's going on, the young people just give them another chance because of this and because of that. And these are people who've been in politics for, many of them, for quite some time. And what they're talking about are words. They don't have the fruits to support it. So they have had the opportunity. My thing to you, ladies and gentlemen, is that we keep hearing people come to us talking about this and that has no possibility of fruition because we ourselves don't have any idea. What I'm going to do here again is mention a couple of things that got my attention, mention them to you. They might mean something. I don't know. I heard one, I was passing by the television, and I heard somebody say, "What is milk?" And for some strange reason, the thought crossed my mind that milk is a liquid food that flows from the titty of a mother. Almond, walnut, oat, that kind of stuff. What is it? It's a type of liquid said to imitate milk. I heard something else about Tucker Carlson, and they had this thing that Tucker Carlson was going to present on television to tell the world about how corrupt the January 6th committee was and how he was going to present all the information that would show to the world, give them some understanding of how it worked. And so I happened to see a program that he was on called To Tell the Truth, or Tell the Truth. And as I flipped on that channel to listen, ladies and gentlemen, I declare for chicken. These guys are something else. They really will sell you, project everything on the people that they want to project it on. When as the evidence have proven that when they do this, that projection tells us if we can catch it exactly what they are doing. This is what they call putting it right before your face. This is when they say, we'll put one hand in front of you and the other hand behind the back and you don't see what's going on. But this is what putting it in your face. What I mean by putting it in your face is that you see it. The truth is coming out, catching you. This is what I mean when I say you see it. It's like all of the stuff that these guys on Fox was trying to blind America by telling them lies. Okay? They fed America lies. They fed them lies. They fed them BS. They fed them BS. And up now, today, we have information coming forward to tell American people who these guys really are that was telling these lies, what they were really thinking, what was their position on things. In other words, with the text messages that have come out now, they are telling us what? The truth. We have heard the lies for a few years. Now the text messages come out to tell us the truth. What does that mean? That means we can wake up from the lie. So that means once we wake up from the lie, that means we are woke. We caught your ass. You were lying, and now we know it. But anyway, that's what the devil does, lies. And so what Tucker was doing was just lying. And the reason that I want to put that on your mind is because people be saying, how can these guys do this? Well, when you are committed to evil, evil has no limitations on what it's going to do or will not do. It's what is required at the next level, at the next step. What is required? If righteous won't do it, evil says, I will, and evil does it. But righteous usually, as we have been trained to, is to wait and allow something else to occur, even to the point of waiting on a miracle. Miracles do occur, but they do not occur for everyone. Their miracles occur for some. For one reason or another, I don't know. But with having a miracle, it empowers you to speak about something that you now know that you didn't know, and you recognize that most folks do not know. What is that? That there's a power invisible that you cannot see, but is major. And it is the power. And when you have that kind of power, or when you've experienced that kind of relationship, you don't mind coming sitting up and talking to folks like I'm doing, knowing that most folks don't want to hear anything I got to say. But I say it anyway. You know, America says that it is the greatest, most powerful nation, the richest nation, the smartest nation on earth ever. That's a lot to say, isn't it? I'm sure Russia says the same thing. China says the same thing. They don't go over there and say, well, America's the greatest nation, but we on that line too. No. Every last one of them say they're the greatest nation. And those people believe it. Just like you, Americans, we believe, many people believe what we hear. Well, with such proclamation comes some responsibility. If you are the greatest nation on earth, then you have the responsibility to all of these failing, suffering nations on earth. You got it. That's what makes you so. Just because you got the resources and stuff like this isn't what makes you great. What makes you great is that you're using the resources to fill a need that affects the world. That's where your greatness comes. Not that you have hoarded and your bonds running over and your guns are bigger and people are scared of you and you can manipulate them. No. Well, there will also come a time as being the greatest nation of accountability, when you will have to give an accounting for the rest of the world's position, since you are the greatest nation. Now, the good thing about that is that since every of these nations say they are the greatest nation, then the responsibility is not really falling on one nation. It's falling on all the nations. All of the nations. And one of the greatest examples I can think of that right now is when they got this war going on. When Russia is taking it upon themselves, himself, to invade and kill all of these babies and whatever, and old folks and whatever, and bombing schools and churches and whatever, just to fulfill an ego, and the rest of the world sits back and can't do anything about it. You ask yourself, why can't the rest of the world do anything about it? They'll help, but they can't do those major things that's necessary. Why you say, well, when they get ready to help, they have to step back and look. They are not innocent. You just can't be a guilty person and then jump on another guilty person. No, you got to hold up a little bit. You got to hold back because you are guilty too. So you want to pretend, you want to front like you're not guilty. So you try to help out, but you're not trying to get rid of anything, because to get rid of it means you got to get rid of yourself and what you're doing. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, America has a responsibility, and that we'll be held accountable for this. But before the end comes, before it's all over, we must correct our wrongs. We must fix our shortcomings. And we must try to make it right. We must try to always do for others as we would have others do for us if we were in that same position. I heard a Russian soldier say, I believe this was a Russian soldier, could have been maybe a person from Ukraine, I don't know. But the statement was, I was called to war. What am I to do? Well, he was in war. I was called by my country. What am I to do? This is what happens in most countries. America, in the draft, call, you go. But what if those that claim God were mature enough to commit to the cause of God's peace, the cause of God's prosperity and God's freedom, God's joy and God's happiness, and the living of those dreams. What if people of God were committed to that? Just as the nation calls you to stand up, God calls you to stand up. Stand up making sure that these things are experienced by the people, instead of what we're going through every day, instead of what we're hearing from the mega groups. I mean, I'm asking you, ladies and gentlemen, these things have to be considered, and I'm sure other people are talking about them, but we got to do something about them. You know, I say that the world should be ashamed. I say the people of the world should be ashamed. Standing by watching all this evil and the evil system and evil nations and the evils. I'm just saying, my friend, leadership. You would think that if something like that happens, just that much evil would cause people to shell and bomb and kill and destroy everything, infrastructure, everything. And any living being or thing. Do it. Not ashamed. And the reason, my friends, that they're not ashamed is because they do not know any better. The world should look in the mirror and recognize that the inability to right this is because we're just as wrong. And all of our wrongness will never make a right. The only thing will make a right is when we change and do what is right. Right is already right. We just not walking down that path. So here I propose, ladies and gentlemen, is this. When you try to issue out something, you are trying to be smart. I know you think you're smart, and you are smart. But you're not the smartest of the smart. There are a lot of people that are smart, but none are as smart as God. What I'm saying to you is this: God put human beings on earth. God prepared that human beings might be able to have those essentials necessary for survival. God has prepared that would always exist from the beginning of time to the end of time. God has given that freely, so nobody can own it. Nobody can say, I own this oil. I own this, whatever the natural resources are. No one can say that they own it. They don't. It is owned by the maker, and that is the giver, which is a power we can't see, that I call God, and probably you do too. And it's like that. So every human or every being that's alive that can benefit from it, it's God's gift to us. We can't be able to say, well, I need this, but no, God didn't give it to us. Like the conservative might say, we have to conserve this because we keep on doing it, we're going to use it all up. Then we might. I can't say we might not, or we won't. We might. Well, here is what I do know, that if we use up all of what we used to use, we will have a surprise coming, or if it's already here, and there will be a discovery of something to replace it. We will have a replacement. That's God's business. But we can't make that stuff, so people who don't believe in God don't use that faith. So they try to hoard for themselves, like a guy like Elon Musk want to try to do whatever he can and keep other people down, or to say stuff that will put other people down. Look, when I talk to you, I talk about evil. And I talk about people who have proven that they are familiar with evil by doing evil all the time. Like, for instance, the mega groups. It's no problem. You got evidence that these guys and ladies are just as evil as they can possibly be when it comes down to caring about folks. They don't give a stink about many people. But God requires that you care about everybody. Look, I know a lot of you do not believe in LGBT. I know you don't believe it. And I understand that we were all taught, most of us, that God made a man, God made a woman. But I want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, that you didn't make a gay person. I didn't make a gay person. In fact, I didn't even make a man or a woman. But here we are. And here's a person saying that they are different than us. I ain't mad. I mean, it messes up my game, because I was told when I saw it was a man and a woman. But here before us now is a different expression. What is my job? My job is to make sure that I treat this person the same as I treat anybody. I'm concerned that every human being, including people who are different than us, have food, clothing, shelter, education, health care, transportation, and infrastructure, and all the benefits of things that man made by their hands. That everybody. And if being a gay person is wrong, I want that in God's hand. And if I don't like what a gay person does, or if you don't like what a gay person does, then you correct the situation that puts you in that position for a gay person to do something that you don't like. This is what, and if you think that people just go and change themselves and become straight and gay, then you can't fix that if they change themselves. That's still on them and God. Only thing we can do is love them. You say, well, I don't want them talking to my daughter, or I don't want them talking to my son. Then raise your daughter and your son in a loving kind of way till they just be so impressed with loving a woman or loving a man and satisfied with that. I mean, but I'm telling you something. You can't control that. All I want you to know is this. You sitting on here trying to judge a gay person and treat them like a devil, like you are a devil, and you will become a devil. So don't you let your hatred toward other folks drive you to hell. Okay, now, I think I'll leave it there for today. And I hope I've said something, ladies and gentlemen, that means something to someone other than myself. Until next time, Eddie Marcus saying goodbye for now.